Why, hello everyone, and welcome to the stream. This is Otaku's show out. Today is, of course, Tuesday, July 6th, 2021. And for those of you who weren't around for yesterday's stream, welcome to the new hardware, the new PC hardware. I did complete my upgrade to the AMD Ryzen 5800X, Ryzen 7 5800X. That is so confusing to me that it's the Ryzen 7, but its number is 5800X. Huh? What? My brain thinks 57, but it's 58. So why is it not Ryzen 8? It's 5000 series, but my brain thinks it should be there should be an 8 if it's 5800. But whatever, 5800X. That was a mission to get all of it installed. I hate DDR4 memory, just to reiterate the beginnings of yesterday's stream. I really hate DDR4 memory. I really hate the slots for DDR4 memory. It is way too easy to think that you've inserted the sticks correctly to have it then not be detected by the motherboard. This led to some interesting contortion of me having to sit right next to me, right here, sitting right here with the sliding door to the closet opened, with a whole bunch of stuff in the closet, as well as the PC, and having to open up the PC and just try to figure out in this extremely dark space the exact way of getting those slots in so that the motherboard and Windows could see it. At first, the thing wouldn't even boot because of VGA error, and the motherboard that I chose, unfortunately, doesn't give me a code. It doesn't have like a 2-digit display like my previous motherboard had that gave an error code that you could look up. No, instead it has 3 lights. It has 3 lights, and depending on which light is lit, is the thing that is wrong. And the first light is memory, RAM. So I just had to look up the color of the light. It has this yellow/orangey light for the RAM. It has a red light for the CPU checks, and it has a sort of yellowy, greeny light for BIOS. And then it does the green, and then it turns off at the end when it's finished post. Hello, Ave, and hello, Mark Thacker. Welcome. Just reiterating for those who missed yesterday's stream, the mission of upgrading the PC. Once I did that, once I was able to pass post with a memory stick, it's just progressive from there. It's just progressive from there, installing the memory sticks until I succeeded to get into Windows with all 4 of them installed, only to find out that one of them was not actually properly installed and wasn't being detected at all, despite being in there. Good morning, Vicky. Hello. Welcome. So, I ended up with one of the memory sticks not being detected, and I had to go in again. At that point, it was the following morning. I went in to take care of that. Lo and behold, it wasn't actually seated correctly to begin with, yet again. And I had to find which stick. Oh boy, that's also another process. Oh boy, you have to then find which memory stick is not being detected, because in CPU-Z, or CPU-Z, or however you want to say it, it tells you a slot number, and for me it was slot number 1 didn't have anything in it, but slots 2, 3, and 4, they had stuff in it. What is slot 1? Because I can tell you it is not the first slot on the left. And I knew it wouldn't be the first slot on the left. It's whatever the motherboard says its first slot is. To which I have to go to a diagram of the motherboard and try to figure out how does this slot number map to these slots. And as it turns out, the slot on the far left, if I remember correctly, is a B2 or a B1. It is not an A. It is followed up by a actually no, it would be the one on the far left is A2. It is then followed by B2, that is then followed by A1, that is then followed by A2. Now, which one of those is slot number 1? Well, in my BIOS, as it turns out, it actually gives me something relevant, which is the actual ID of the slots when I look at the slots for what's in each slot for the RAM. And it specifically had nothing in slot A1. So, therefore, it was slot A1, which is the 3rd slot of 4, reading from the left. So that was slot 1. It was actually slot 3. So it was easy enough to just go in and reseat the thing, and it is detected, and everything is good. And then I went through the process of overclocking. Come to find out, there was a problem with Windows as well that complicated matters. I have since fixed, as far as I can tell, my problem with Windows itself, running the system file checker. That has stopped all essentially crashing. Not really. I'd say also blue screening, but I specifically had a problem with Windows just freezing up and not even going into a blue screen. It just died a couple of times with games running and such. So fixed that, did stuff, overclocked the system, used my motherboard's own program to do automated overclocking. That was pretty neat. Got the processor to 4.575 gigahertz with it's just a flat multiplier of 45.75 applied to the processor. That's what it could handle, and it is stable. here, and the memory is running at its rated speeds. I am not going to bother with trying to go through the entire process of eking out the maximum performance from the thing by using all of the like AMD boost technologies and all of that, like having a core or two that are the fastest ones that do extreme boosting when I have a need for single core boosts or two core boosts. No, just nah. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in the multi-core, the whole thing being fast. This being actually the same as my old processor. It is an 8-core 16-thread processor. I did not actually change in any way there, which is fortunate because this is what I'm used to. Definitely a lot faster than the previous system. I think I also gained a benefit from an more up-to-date M.2 slot technology versus the previous motherboard, because that was X99 was like the first time M.2 was in like consumer grade motherboards. So that was really early, and I think there was a shift over in the technology to something a little bit more higher throughput potential, especially, well, the processors have gotten better. They're able to handle like PCI lanes a lot better now. Even then it was really high, but now there's more. It's just more stuff, and it feels like this main drive that I have the operating system on, it feels faster now. And it feels like the operating system is faster, more than I could explain just by a CPU boost. It's loading faster than previously. So yeah, it's good. It's great. I like it, and looking forward to using this for the next 5+ years, as it is. However, the next upgrade will need to be a GPU and potentially a power supply, because I don't know exactly what the expected lifespan is on my power supply, and eventually I will need another graphics card. It, I think, is approaching its end of life within a couple of years. We shall see. So Factorio. I've done a few things, and Factorio would be the game that we would see a difference for the new CPU compared to previously. Maybe. This, of course, assumes that the game uses the full resources of your CPU, and as it turns out, if I go to my task manager and I look at all the threads on my CPU is running at 32%, and none of them are maxed. My graphics card is at 20%, 22%. So that's not been maxed either. So I'm like, huh. Why are we not running faster? I don't know. Legitimately. I have no idea why the FPS and UPS is what it is right now, when the system itself is not running at max. There's something else at play that is limiting the performance of Factorio outside of even single core clock speed. Wow, that's a word. That's a sentence. For the CPU, and outside of the GPU processing. Something is limiting. So, that's strange. Now, as it turns out, when I'm not streaming, this number approaches 90, and is over 90 up here on the FPS UPS. So streaming is doing something, quite clearly, to my performance in the game. I don't know if like I'm pretty sure this is lower than when streaming on the previous setup, but I could be wrong about that. I'm most likely wrong about that, especially since I've done a thing. Right, that would explain a lot right now, actually, outside of just streaming. So the performance has gone down because I'm sort of building another array of solar panels. This is after already having built another array of solar panels. I'll have 4 of them now. So all those Logibot, all those construction bots, excuse me, doing their thing. I've got like 53,000 of them right now, total, of which there's 41,000 active, and that's decreasing at the rate that the boxes are filling until we get enough to complete the order. There's something like a little over 12,000 entities that get placed when plopping one of these down. 12,000 solar panels plus another 2.4 on the accumulators. Isn't the burning power enough? Yes, but I want more. I always want more power. I am preparing for scale, for more scale going into the future. Always, always more scale. Gotta be ready for all of that. Now, I said I would do a few things off screen, and I have done them. In particular, I expanded titanium. I now have titanium ore online, as well as the nitinol online. How did I get the normal power out of Steam? That's what you're asking? Well, algae. Green algae farming. There is a recipe that converts the cellulose fiber into ultimately charcoal. Essentially, the wood bricks can be converted directly into charcoal. Fiber to pellets to bricks to charcoal. I remember a time when wood bricks had a fuel value. Those were good times. Those were good times when the wood bricks had fuel value. They don't have fuel value anymore. So yeah, it's converted into charcoal, then into pellets, and then I burn the pellets, and I just, you know, blah, lots of those setups. So yeah, off screen, I set up the titanium and the nitinol plates, as I said I would do, as well as gilded wire. So the gilded wire is just add copper. Just add copper to the setup, add a few more thingies making additional mineral sludge, and there you go. I mean, this is pretty much just a copy-paste of what I used in my tinned wire coils that are to the north of my mall over here. So we've got tinned wire coils. I had done this off screen. I showed it previously. It's pellet press copper processing into the tinned wire coils down here with the little tin pellet press processing over here as well. But I also, in the process of this, ran into a few issues. Those issues being, I needed steel, more steel. Oh god, so much steel. So, I have expanded my steel out to here. I've got a bit more steel. So much steel, in fact, that I am, in fact, backing up on it right now. And everything was glorious. So, double the steel at this point. I also, after things were running for a little while, discovered that, yeah, my green circuits weren't flowing anymore. Not as quickly, not at max. So I was like, huh, what's wrong with my green circuits? Solder coils. I had managed to run out of solder coils. So I decided it would be a good time to go and get some more solder coils. And so that's what I worked on earlier today, this morning, and last night was additional solder coils, which is the same thing as the tin coils through the pellet press tin, just replacing it with lead. Except that there is no chance in hell that I'm ever going to do pellet press lead. Why? Because it uses hexafluorosilicic acid, or whatever the heck it's called. My brain remembers the oddest of things, including this word. Hexafluorosilicic acid. I'm not spending silicon and hydrofluoric acid on this stuff to do the lead. You get silicon ore back in 20 to 1, so it's 1 to 2, and then 2 to 1. So that's fine. The ore cycles, but not the hydrofluoric. You lose your hydrofluoric. You spend hydrofluoric acid to do lead processing through pellet press, and I am not about that life. I am not going to spend hydrofluoric acid on this. It's not necessary. The processed lead processing is so much easier. It's just add oxygen, and you're done. Now, it does mean that I would need more mineral sludge to get the correct amount of ingots in the end to match up with the pellet pressed tin. That's fine. I did it. This is like 15 per second of coils, or something along those lines. It's a lot of coils. It's a line of 10 of coils of solder, which is a lot of solder. So, all of that said and done, it's time to start working towards getting into blue circuits, aka processing units. So, I have a plan. Let's have a look at the plan, shall we? Processing units are going to need advanced circuits, as well as titanium, and logic boards, and sulfuric acid. This is relatively simple. All we need to do is make these logic boards, pretty much. We already have the titanium, and the sulfuric acid, and the red circuits. And we sort of already know how to make all this stuff here. We just need to make the blue boards, the most superior circuit boards. Because we've already got the solder coils, and then we have all the components to make all this. We've got monosilicon provided, we've got the coils, and we have charcoal in abundance. So, what I've decided is, because this guy, the superior circuit board, is going to require a ton of additional inputs, and because I will also want robot brain 3s here, which are the identical stuff as these electronic logic boards for the construction and logistic robot brains, level 3, which will add 2 more train stations to this already. In the end, I think this is 13 train stations. Yeah. 13 stations in my overall station, 13 stops. I'm splitting off the superior circuit boards from this. And actually, these other 2 blocks, they're gonna be one factory in the end for the superior circuit boards here. They're going to also provide fiberglass boards onto the network, so in reality, I would want to produce some excess amounts of these, but that's going to be really, really simple enough to scale up in the location, because I'm going to need fiberglass board for other things as well. In fact, I will need it very specifically for module stuff. And I need it for the multi-layered circuit boards, the black boards, which are the same thing as the blues, it's just a different color. Same recipe, more copper and gold, and more ferric chloride per unit, that's whatever. I will also have these here at some point that will eventually add another station. But this, not that many inputs here, except for that fiberglass board. And it's the fiberglass board where things get annoying. Fiberglass board, specifically the liquid resin. Yeah, the liquid resin is going to need 3 catalyst types, aka 6 ore types for those catalysts. We have all of them on the network right now, fortunately enough. Why are you making excess slime? What? Huh? Oh, you're trying to... Right, I didn't add the thing, did I? Where are you? Hello? Product. You. Now, if I can have the game use this recipe, that would be great, because for whatever reason, even on Matrix Solver, order matters. Oh, what? I already have it. So then do I need to lower? I am confused. Why are you not using this? Some behaviors of Hellmod, I swear. Well, regardless, I will not be making that much lime. I'll be making 1 lime. I would like 1 lime. That does absolutely nothing, by the way, in Matrix Solver mode. Just why? Huh. Well then. Odd. But anyway, that's gonna be the fiberglass right there. Just a whole bunch of ores. Yes, there's silicon in here as well, for the glass, the molten glass, in the end, but that's fine. And I only need this lime for the molten glass through the glass mixture. By the way, I can probably make those now, if I don't already have them. Let me get in my car and head to the mall just to see if I have those powder thingies at level 3. Pretty sure I have them at level 2, it's just I don't think I have them at level 3 yet. Yeah, I don't. should be able to make him at level 3, right? So why am I going to blue circuits now? Well, A, they'll be needed for various things and more advanced sciences, even though we're not making the advanced sciences yet. But it is the last thing I need to start making a lot of increased mark level items. That's pretty much it. It is the final ingredient for higher mark level stuff. Because I already have titanium. The titanium tier of items is what I'll generally refer to them as. Whoops. Do not get hit by train. Do not get hit by train. As I go over here and up, I've had to scale up my steel and cobalt steel intermediates to maintain the logistic stuff of my dreams. You there. Huh? I am not able to make the level 3. Alright then. Level 2. That explains a lot. Now I should have a lot of this infrastructure already. We can pretty clearly see there's a lot of ones here, and very low values of other stuff as it is. Of course, I am going to need to do modules soon. At my current level of tech, how far can I go? So, this stuff is blocked by purple. So from level 6, it's blocked by purple, so I can probably go up to 5 on the modules, up to level 5. Just gonna look at these prereqs and see that, yeah, at blue science, it would be up to level 5. Let me see here. That polished blue crystal shards, that's the medium fighter territory. So it would be small and medium biters that I would need. And we can see a lot of overlap on the circuit stuff for these. Oh boy. Yeah, that'll be a thing. Just a reminder that I have modded the mods to give me the standard Bob's Modules recipes for these, with the changes made by Angel's bioprocessing. I have removed the modifications that are made by circuit processing as well as by Sea Block for the purposes of this. I was actually asked by KiwiHawk, the one of the main developers of Sea Block, what I specifically could note, considering that there's a new update to Sea Block coming relatively soon. There is an update to Sea Block soon, and they just asked, "Hey, what do I think should be changed or fixed?" Huh. So I brought up the that I would like to see an ability in C Block / circuit processing to not have to be forced to use these module settings, basically. Um, it is going to be looked at. It's just not going to be the next update because there's an odd behavior that I know about with Factorio in that the way that they're currently implementing in C Block the changes to the modules is that it forcibly sets the settings for Bob's modules to a specific set of settings. And by doing that, it then locks you from changing the settings in the startup settings in the game. If you make a startup setting for C Block that simply says that if I'm enabled or if I'm disabled, don't run this code, that forcibly sets the settings for Bob's modules, what will happen is that, yes, you will then be able to change the Bob module settings, but it does not revert the settings to default. It keeps the more stringent settings in Bob's modules. So in reality, you have to then have a way of resetting Bob's module's settings, right? To default, ideally. Because the way that I did it was I just went in and manually changed all the values back to their default settings, which could be tedious for the average person. Now, as for circuit processing, it's as simple as just reinstating an existing setting that was in there in the first place, right? That's what I did, is I just re-enabled a setting that's already there. So as long as they could just re-add that setting, it modifies the recipes and the like graphics on the modules to instead of having 8 tiers of modules, it makes it seem as if there are only 3 or 4, a 0 through 3, with a intermediate that's technically coded as one of the levels of circuits between each step. So it's sort of faking it by just changing the level 1 through 8 to be a 0, a precursor to 0, a 0, a precursor to 1, a 1, a precursor to 2, a 2, a precursor to 3, and 3. It just modifies it. So you can turn that off, and you can turn off the changing of the recipes as well. And it's just one file in an if statement that checks if a setting is enabled. That you have to also enable in another file. So that one's easy. It's the C Block implementation of how strong the modules are that is the tricky part. And then I also brought up that, balance. Yeah, balance. Like military science, Invar being obscene. But we'll see about what sort of modifications are made to the science cost tweaker settings. Actually, that's what I wanted to look that up. Because if C Block overrides the startup settings for Bob's modules by default, then by extension, it should be doing that with several of the other things, right? Settings updates. So what does it forcibly change? It does do science cost tweaker edits. It sets lab modules to none. Science cost tweaker lab modules to none. It sets this thing called connect science to false and section bio to tier 1, whatever the heck that stuff means. Whatever the heck that stuff ultimately means. So maybe if Sea Block isn't really touching that, I have to look more at some of this. Ha! It sets SpaceX to ignore the tech multiplier, which is why we have sane tech costs for the last techs, which is why we have sane values on the FTL drive techs up here. So in a normal Angels Bob's playthrough, this is multiplied by a factor of 10 for each technology. So Ave, good luck if you have space extension, because all the tech costs are 2 million per level of FTL tech. It's way too much. I really don't see the need for it to be that high by default for the average person. There is a point to it being high, and that's very specifically for the folks who want to make megabases and have really high output science. But in the end, for the normal person, when it's 2 mil each, you just end up sitting there and letting the game run for 20 plus hours to let it chew through the text at the end of the game, right? Because you're only doing this like once you already have space science. So it makes no sense to just force you to sit and wait for those texts to happen. Anyway, all of that said and done, let's build a thing. Let's actually build a thing. Now, I don't know about what Science Cost Tweaker does exactly. If it's Science Cost Tweaker looking at angels and being like, oh hey, you have angels, therefore this thing is going to cost these things. Or if it's a Sea Block side of things that's like, oh hey, you have Science Cost Tweaker, these are the sciences and these are their costs. I don't know who's configuring what, so I can check this if I can find a science. I can see that this is adjusted by Angels Refining on these recipes here, and not by Sea Block. Adjusted by Angels Bioprocessing, and adjusted by Science Cost Tweaker again. And what about the military science itself? This is Angels Refining. That is making adjustments. And this exists exclusively through Science Cost Tweaker. And is not being adjusted by anything. So, this balance issue is not Sea Block. This balance issue is Science Cost Tweaker. So if we are to complain to anyone, we are to complain to Mexmer about how awful these costs are on the Invar of mill science specifically, and potentially also some other things involved with it. What is Angel's Petrochem changing about that? The carbon, most likely. Yeah, it's the It's the carbon. It's just replacing whatever it was with this carbon. And same thing here, it's replacing with naphtha, it's replacing with sulfur dioxide. It should replace with the methane, methane, Angel's version of methane. And this adds probably buildings? Yeah. All very, very interesting. Makes me wonder if some of these can be overridden by Sea Block or another mod, just to try to balance out some of these costs. Because clearly here, Science Cost Tweaker is like seeing, hey, you've got access to this thing called Invar, so you're going to need to make it in these values for this. Now, the 6 Invar there for this particular thing is fine. It's the fact that it's these 7 weapon testing subplates that each need 3 Invar that's the problem specifically with mill science. Why do we need 7 of these subplates when they each need 3 Invar? Shouldn't that be like 2 or 1? And then why is it 6 Invar on top of that? Like, you don't need the Invar here if you're already getting Invar through the subplates. Like, why are you adding even more Invar to this? And why does that have to be 6? Like, please pick one. You don't need 13.5 units of Invar per unit of mill science before productivity gains. But anyway, I need to decide which slot I'm going to be building in. Which hole shall we build in for our circuits here? I think I'll go up and build in these 2. Yeah. I have forgotten to be reminded about there is a box coming. And I have to call my health insurance. Apparently. Yes, I do. So, I got my first dose of the vaccine this past weekend. I'm feeling just fine. But there was a very slight delay at the start when checking in, because my there was an error. There was an error with my insurance, and we couldn't figure out why there was an error. I am on Medicaid, and there was this weird thing that happened. Just an error from the pharmacy end. It's like, huh. Weird. I don't know why there would be an error. But then again, I haven't really used it much. It's been used 1 time total. And that was for a eye doctor visit. Because the Medicaid completely covers the visit to the eye doctor every other year, even though I do technically have a separate eye insurance that has a $15 payment when I go in for a eye appointment. But that I can do yearly for 15. So it would be like you could go in 1 year and have it be free, and then the next year it's 15, etc., etc. Just cycle back and forth like that. But for whatever reason, they ran my Medicaid card info, and it just came up with a nondescript error. And they checked on the on the state, because it's through the state, to check whether or not I am enrolled in a Medicaid system, and it just said, yeah, he has Medicaid. It just said yes. It didn't specify with who. Because I don't think my provider changed. Anthem Health Keepers Plus is technically what I have. Pretty sure it's not changed. It's just nondescript error happened. So I have to figure out why that there has been an error at some point within the next few weeks before I go and get my next shot. Now, of course, the shot's free, regardless. They just charged the government for it rather than the Medicaid. Which, I mean, there's effectively no difference. Right? Logically speaking, there's effectively no difference there, right? I'm pretty sure. It's just one is the state paying for it, the other is the federal government paying for it. Which the federal government's also funding the states for it, so it all goes to federal at some point as being the ones to pay for it, right? And by pay for it, I don't mean the actual vaccine itself, because that was paid for already. It's the administration of the vaccine. Because yeah, the government paid for the vaccine itself, but someone has to pay the person who's actually doing the injection into your arm and is holding onto the vaccines in storage and spending the time to do the paperwork, get you checked in, check you off, write out the card for the vaccine. Those people have to be paid for what they do. So that's that end of it. And this is very much a United States issue, because if it was all done through the government to begin with, paying all of their salaries to begin with, we wouldn't have this problem, now would we? Huh, it would be so much easier and simpler. Wouldn't even have to worry about all of that. Anyway, I need a massive train station here. So how many slots are you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Magic. I do not want to make you like this. Because this is not particularly great of a layout. I don't like this crossover here in particular. So how will I fix it? I think I'll rotate a section this way, and I think I can get the 13 along this corridor. Oh yeah, right, and for the other side of things, it's gonna need like 13. With one of those being a fluid. So that's 1, 2, 6, 7. That's 13. I really don't want any of those red belt thingies in there. Also way too much on the power poles. So let's just get rid of all of these. It's all going to be the green belt anyway in the end, as far as I am concerned. The ultimate belts. I think I'm good. Yeah, there's a little bit of a thing with the spacing there, but that's okay. So now I just need this end of it. And this end of it. Just without all this stupid belt. Yeah, it's fine. So, obviously what that means is I could expand even further. Or, build in here with other things. Or, you know, cut the whole thing. And shift it. To, like, there. That fixes. Alright. I will want no signals in here. Yep, I think I'm okay. I can fit additional, station stuff up there. Alright. The build will happen after I take a brief break. I need to go run up to the bathroom. Quick. And I will be back very shortly. And I have returned. Welcome back. Attempt to index local entity a nil value. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We'll be fine. Or so he claims. Alright. You. Pin. Pin. Glorious pin. This is a lot of stuff to, chew through. Error, 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 error. Eh, it's fine. It automatically renames the things. At least, it better. So what do I want as the first thing of this? Also, yeah, that's 13 requester stations. I don't need 13 requester stations. I need my provider stations in here as well. So, in reality, these are going to change a little bit in the grand scheme. And we'll probably work from the front, or from the back to the front here as we go along. And then replace the things at the front with the provider stations that we need. So, where to even begin? Oh boy, let's do the air for the oxygen. May as well do it like in here. Or the air for the nitrogen, excuse me. That's what we want out of this setup. We want nitrogen. And not oxygen. We want the nitro, the most nitro of nitrogen. It doesn't reach. I'm so sad. What? You don't reach? Reach. There you go. Once the whole thing is powered, we'll be good. Oh, that's where you were. Alright. Doink, doink. 4 algae farms to 2 assembling machines. This is a compact enough setup, I think. That will be okay. Doink, doink. You see my annoyance, right? Alright, that will go into... what? What? Oh, not further processed. Okay. Okay. Doohickey. Doohickey! Liquefier! I need you doing this. So you need carbon, or charcoal, excuse me. Then those. Alright. That's gonna be this process. I need water. I need input from a crusher. Crushing slag, and I need slag in. The slag will be from three of these, which are also providing my hydrogen. It will produce more than enough hydrogen in the end. And a whole bunch of oxygen that I don't need in any way, shape, or form in the entire build. Go. Kill the oxygen. I've got 3. That's fine. Overflow valve. Void. And then flip the whole thing. Why did I want to flip the whole thing? Well, it makes it a lot easier, to be honest, for me to output. Hello, Ollie. How's my boy? Come here, my boy. Yes, my baby. How's Ollie? How's my Ali? That's a pretty boy. Yes, he's a pretty. He's a pretty baby. How's my Ali? He got hooks. Does he need trimming from his hooks? Yes. He's pretty. Big boy. Big boy. Off he goes. Maybe we'll see Dolly. She's taking her nap too. They were both taking their naps. Good day for naps for them, I guess. Alright. That's sort of all that stuff taken care of. That piece of the back end. Right, I will need charcoal. We're starting from the end and working our way down. Our charcoal at blue boards. That's what I'll call it. Blue boards. I don't want any of these. Excuse me? These things just make things much more complicated. Why do you have 3? There we go. Let's, yeah, trim up a lot of these. There's still even more superfluous power poles in there, but I don't think I care that much about them. Alright, you. Coal. Ah! Thankfully, I managed to hit that mute button in time. Alright. That is that stuff glowing and giving me cellulose fiber. This cellulose fiber is going to be going into one of these thingies to make me methanol. Ta-da. Pretty sure it's 1. Is it 1? How many? Oh, it's 4. Ha! Ha! Yeah, about that. There you go. Ta-da! Methanol! A lot easier way of getting methanol than the alternatives. A lot easier than going in the route of even this. I mean, this is actually pretty decent out of the CO2 and hydrogen. It's just bring in the charcoal, but you have to bear in mind you have to make the charcoal for carbon dioxide, and you have to get the hydrogen somehow, and you have to throw green metal catalyst stuff at it. I'm thinking that this way ends up being more, or shall we say, less power overall. Although there is also steam cracking of methane and synthesis, but you know you have to get the methane. You have to get the methane. A little bit harder in Sea Block. Alright, so that's the methanol that will be converted into formaldehyde with the green metal catalysts. Once we get to that point, we're not at that point yet. Absolutely not. So, yes, let's also do the washing while we're here. Rotate that way. Okay. I don't like building this way, but I shall. Alright, I need a vent there. I need the pump. Let's not forget this time. You. That one. Ta-da! Water. There it goes. Limestone. 2 blast furnaces, huh? Fuel. Haha. Fuel. Well, as it turns out, I have this nifty little thing here. Void. Output, output. Power, power. Ta-da! Done. This will go into 3 powder mixers. I said 3 powder mixers, buddy. L, L. And that's silicon ore. And all three of these into one of those. And that into one of those. Give me glass fiber. Yep, that will work. Just add, you know, silicon ore. Our silicon ore at blue boards. Congratulations, you are going to be silicon ore. It would be more convenient for a lot of these, actually, if I combined them from neighboring outputs, but whatever. Nah. I've decided no. Hello, silicon. And that, as they say, is that. Okay. So we have this methanol being made up here. We have a source of nitrogen. And we have a source of hydrogen. And technically, we also have CO2, which, yeah, I can pull off of here. Step one, as we work our way towards what? What do we want to do first? Do we want to do the formaldehyde first, and then the melamine? Let's do the formaldehyde into the melamine. So the formaldehyde is green metal catalysts. I'm just trying to think about how I want to really do this. Preferably, since these two are going to be our green metal catalysts. Not what I'm going to have here. And since it's only one building that needs the one green metal catalyst, oh boy. This guy here. Just going to cycle back and forth between these, but it's going to need some catalyst carriers to do so. I need my logic. Where's my logic? Logic? Where are you? Logic. So what I need is catalyst carriers, where those live. You are going to pulse 10 times. I don't know. I don't know how many I'll need for this. I will need power. I will need a Roboport. They'll deliver the things. And that is basically that. Just add methanol. And the catalysts, you know. The ores to the catalysts, I should say. And this is why I wanted really to combine together the outputs here. So we've got our aluminium ore at blue boards, and we have our silver ore at blue boards. Aluminium and silver. That is green metal catalysts. And that is formaldehyde. Next, we need the red and blue. Red and blue catalysts, starting with red for the ammonia synthesis. Now, we'll do that the other way. Because, well, convenience more than anything. But that also means, let's copy this. And do that like so. That way, I'm able to do red, blue. And step in between. All right. Oh boy. Disabled like control behavior is exactly what I would like to see. Though, interestingly enough, it wasn't loading full stacks. It loaded one at a time. Right, because it iterates by each. Let's do 20. And that way it will have a little bit more in the system itself. Okay, I need the CO2, the nitrogen, and the hydrogen. Alright, hydrogen. Nitrogen. And the what now? CO2? Not that one. And there, we have that. We have that. And then we will have this. And then, as well, get rid of that pure water. Okay. This needs to be the blue. So this is our cobalt ore at blue boards. And our titanium ore at blue boards. Followed up by our iron ore at blue boards. And our copper ore at blue boards. Alright, cobalt. Titanium. Iron. And copper. Doink, doink. Doink, doink, doink. And that goes into 1. Who's meowing? We've got a meower. We've got a meower meowing. Meow! Who is meowing? Is that my dolly? Dolly? Meow? Dolly, where are you? Yeah, my dolly. Hi. Huh? Baby! Dolly, why are you meowing at me? Oh, that's my girl. That's the girl. You done with your nap? You're disappointed that I'm the only one here? You're like, where is everyone? Where'd everybody go? Where'd everyone go, huh? Where'd everyone go? I'm here. I'm here, baby. Took a nap and she got up and no one was around. No one was around, huh? I'm here. You don't need to meow. Can't you hear me? Do you not care about me? Huh? Like, what am I? You get all upset that folks are not here? Like, I'm here. I'm here. Yes, my dolly. Off she goes. There's, yes, play the piano, thank you. Well, fiberglass boards. That's a thing. That is the normal break time. Yeah, let's have a normal break. Get up again. I don't know what's going on with my body today, but I actually do need to get up and go again. So I will be back shortly. I have returned as quickly as possible. Ah. Grit? Is that my coffee being gritty? Maybe. Maybe. So, that's part 1. Part 2 of this factory is this stuff. Alright. Let's get down to it. Back over here, I will have you. Feeding you. I need both of these things for this. This makes slightly more hydrogen than what I need. And it produces a byproduct that will get deleted. The face of existence. Where are you? I need a you. You there. That. Oh, right. Pure water for you. Ugh. Ugga. Ugga bugga. A little ridiculous, but it works. And so it's fine. Overflow. That will go to you. You just need the iron. Oh, the ironing. The iron. We must have the iron in. There we go. Stuff! And that will lead to this. The, 9. Oh boy. Hello, Ollie. Welcome back. How's my boy? How's that baby? What's he doing? Oh, yeah, so 3 solids on the input, and a solid on the output. So, as you might expect, I'm gonna do that. I'm actually gonna run this way. Bing bong! Thank you, Ollie, for the musical interlude. Doink, doink. Do-do, do-do, do-do. So, how does one power all this? There, 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 and there. Okay. Next. We need copper and gold. Are copper plates at blue boards? Are gold plates at blue boards? So you are those. You are those. And that leaves me 2 slots. Hello, Pi. Welcome. Yeah, you've missed a fair bit of progress. We now have blue boards. Our superior circuit boards. Once I connect up this pipeline. Ta-da! Come on, gold. There you go. It's... Oh. Oh. Ahem. Yeah, you missed the Hellmod explanations. For the moment. Oh, it's so easy to just transfer the stuff. With the fast little loaders. That works. Blue boards! Alright. Yeah, you missed where I had reviewed the Hellmod stuff. I did the plan just before I started streaming. So I just was explaining, oh hey, I've got a need for a rather large train station to make the processing units, the blue circuits, so I'm splitting it up into 2 separate factories. One is going to be this, which is next, and the other is going to include fiberglass into superior circuit boards. And this will... You know, I'll probably just copy it into a new location to do the blackboards. The next level of circuit board. For now, just needed blue boards. And I will need fiberglass as fiberglass for stuff. I could just make fiberglass as fiberglass. I mean, it's not that big of a deal on input volume. You just get more separately. Although, I've used a very small fraction of the amount of space in this particular cell. Yep, for the next circuit level, it's the same. It's just more back-end stuff. Is it the same amount of fiberglass, though? I know it's double the ferric chloride. But, yeah. Just seeing this, though, as it is, part of me is like, just do the other piece of this. Just do this part here as well. Just put in another 13 long train station right below where I currently am. Like, copy the train station without all the buildings and just do this. And then I don't even have to load the superior circuit boards. So the superior circuit boards, the blue boards, will be needed for brains, which I was going to do anyway here, and logic boards, and that's it. That's all they're used for. So do I really want to put these onto a train station? Nah. Nah, I don't really need it on the network. What I do need is another 13 long doohickey. And to do that, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that. I'm going to put it there. Voila. Just remove all of the stuff from the factory. I am also using that iron for the ferric chloride, yes. That I am. Absolutely. So I've split off the iron for the ferric chloride, and I'm doing that here. Because ferric chloride solution is just iron ore in, effectively. That is all it is just iron ore in, and suddenly you've got as much as you need. Because everything else is from water. Just exclusively from water. It is the easiest thing imaginable. Especially because you can void the sodium hydroxide. Hey! A membership renewal went through. Hello! I have gone in and, because this is the first time I've had a renewal go through while streaming since making this change, I think. And I made modifications to my Streamlabs notices to clarify when it's someone who is renewed and when it's someone who is new as a sponsor for the channel, as a member, as it were. So we have a returning member. That would be Johnny, who's also supporting on Patreon, for that matter. Yeah, but thing is, iron ore is, well, supremely simple to scale. Very, very simple to scale. Why did you zero out? Probably because I'm on a different thingy right now. Pin. Right, so one of these needs to be converted. I don't need this to be this long. I also need to convert to actually supply the blue processing units. But I need a fluid. I need a fluid in on here, and that will be this last one. So I'm gonna clear this stuff from the end and break these so that I could get my sulfuric acid in. There you go. Sulfuric acid in. So this build will need the sulfuric acid, red circuits, titanium, plastic monosilicon, tinned wire, solder coils. It will not need the charcoal, and it'll need steam, but that's easy. That's easy. It will not need the charcoal because I have the charcoal already from above. And this will be a one thing that I bring in from above. It needs to be converted into carbon. And I think the way... No, I'm not gonna combine other stuff. No. This is just gonna be blues. This is just gonna be blues. Yeah, I don't know why I would do anything involving the next level of circuit. I mean, I would like the brains. The level 3 brains. I don't have the recipes for the level 3 brains yet, because I don't have the science for it, but I know that they are the same thing as this. They're the same thing as this guy, the electronic logic board, in terms of ingredients. So I can just tack on additional stuff here, or I can make an entire factory providing the brains of each brain. Just kill the 5 here and 9 here and just replace it with the brain recipes. And it will work. Just work. Without having to scale up or change anything involving this factory. And if I need more blue boards, and I've already saturated, like, I'm not bottlenecked on any of the ingredients for the blue boards, and if I need blue boards, it's just copy this unit, and there's more blue boards. That's the thing that I did with the red circuits that I didn't really like. Do I have time for a chat about working more on the KU Acknowledge page? Oh, well, in a couple of hours. This afternoon I will, but not going to respond to that right now. Anyway, you are sulfuric acid, so that's good. But you're not at titanium. You're at blue circuits. Let's go ahead and actually bring that stuff in. Yeah, and if I do the copy over for the brains, it's not even going to need the sulfuric acid either. So that's a relevant bit of information there. You... And you... That'll be carbon. Alright. The rest of this doesn't really matter what order I do this in terms of the inputs. So, let's start with our... I don't know. Let's keep it because we had sulfuric acid. Let's do red circuits at blue circuits. You're going to be bringing in these when/if I have any, are titanium plates at blue circuits. Bring in titanium plates. Are solder coils at blue circuits. Did I call that at... Yeah. So, solder coils. You are tinned coils at blue circuits. Alright, that's those. Monosilicon. There you go. When/if I have, oops, monosilicon. And then plastic. Oof, that'll be two white objects next to each other between the monosilicon and the plastic. Ooh, uh-oh. And then, is that it? Check mark, check mark, check mark, check mark, check mark, check mark. That's from above, that's here, that's here, that's here, that's it. So... these... 6... One of them is changing to the provider station, but the rest are not necessary. I'll probably keep them around because this is an interesting layout that I might use for other larger station needs. Where I need a lot of stuff in and don't have that huge of a setup of outputs. But anyway, so the red circuits that are now here and the titanium plates can meet up together. The solder can uncoil. The tin can uncoil. The monosilicon needs 2. And the rest is input as the plastic. The plastic comes in as plastic. So that covers pretty much everything, right? I will need to get the blue boards brought down. Is that a good line to draw? No, of course not. But I'll manage. That's a line anyway. There we go. We are ready with our back end stuff. Okay, I will need 4 of these. There we go. So that's 1 of 3. We need silicon and tinned and plastic. So that is that. Plastic should be at the top, followed by the other 2. So this will be plastic. And this will be silicon wafers and tinned copper wire. Now, it appears as if, besides this guy that needs the tinned copper wire, we might want to just have the silicon and tinned wire be hooked up together like that. And wouldn't you know it, it's the same thing for those. It's just this adds sulfuric acid to the mix. Well, okay. There's all that. Next is 2 of these. But these are going to need carbon. So I could offset by 1 tile, or I could just do that and be like, oh hey, you want carbon? Here's carbon. Ta-da. Doink, doink, doink. Now, all of this, plus solder, will need to be put together into 9 here. Let's go ahead and do this. Here. Yes, this Ultimate Belts mod is really nice for its underground distance, and this is not its final form. This is far from its final form. If I was interested in actually spending modules on the things, I'm not interested in spending modules on the things, so this may just be the only one I end up using. Maybe, well, there's another level higher, or 2 levels higher. I think there's a red version that doesn't use the doohickeys. Where are you? Very easily get lost here. That is not the one I'm looking for. So there is a purple level that uses red. This purple level uses speed. So red is the next level, and it does not need speed modules, and that will have an underground distance of 35. Currently, it's 30, so it's plus 5 on that underground distance, and these will have a belt speed of 135 as opposed to 90. You go from 90 to 135, and after that you need to start spending modules, which, good luck with that. It is only one module for every 20, though, so we can keep that in mind. It goes up to 180 items per second and 40 max length, 45 max length at the next level of module, and then 50 max length at module level 3 on the highest end, which is 270 on the belt speed on this nice little light blue aqua color here. And yeah, each time you're also throwing blue belt stuff at this, plus a bunch of iron, plus the previous level of thing, plus modules. These things are extremely expensive to make. They're really powerful, yes, but they are extremely expensive. It takes a lot of infrastructure to go into making these at scale. Notice that total raw value is not including the previous level of belt. All the stuff to make the previous level of belt. That's just the new stuff you need to add, and it's not even breaking down those speed module 3s either. And the previous level of belt is speed module 2s, which also needs the previous level of belt, which is speed module 1s, which needs the previous level of belt, which needs the previous level of belt. All these steps need 40 gear wheels each. All these steps need the 2 express undergrounds each, that at blue level. So it very quickly adds up to be extremely expensive. But max length 50. But that's a really big max length on those. Okay. So I am now presented with a slight conundrum because we have to have 5 items in plus 1 item out. And the only way we can do that is by having an extra line here. Now, I think the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to also combine the belt here. This will be a close line. That'll be that line by itself. And actually, this will be the close line and the output will be the far line. But, of course, power, which is why it's a great thing that I have substations. Because I would need to do this here and then this here on this side, like sandwich on each side, or just place a substation and be done with it because, yeah, that. And that. There you go. And that. Whew. Okay. And we now have these. AKA, we would also have brains at level 3. This will go into 5 of these guys, which also need the sulfuric acid. great if I had more inserters. It would be really great if I had more inserters. Okay, you come down. There's more inserters. And that is a single processing unit per second. If I had no bottlenecks, which, of course, very likely I have bottlenecks. Actually, no, those don't go there. I need these. I do hope that's spacing. That looks a little off, but no, it is exactly aligned properly. Supply blue circuits. Depot blue circuits. Also do ASDF. You don't actually need to exist at all. You know what? Delete it. Just delete it. Whoops. Well, alrighty then. That is a thing. Train. Time for train. You. These. One whole stack, please. Let's keep that as the limit. Blue circuits. Supply, depot, full cargo, circuit condition, go. And then define processing units. And save. And then we get to add it to the mall. As M blue circuits. Right. Blue, blue. Done. Once we have blue circuits, we're good. Okay. That went a little bit faster than I thought it would. I was totally expecting this to take the entire day and potentially not finish today. But, I've finished. I do want to provide fiberglass on the network, but I may do a separate factory providing fiberglass on the network. Just do it in a different square. Yeah, I think I'll do exactly that, actually. But, that'll be something for off-screen work when I do off-screen work. what are our next steps is the point to make. Well, I wanted to do the acid gas processing, but it's really a low priority thing for when I need the stuff. Like, when I get into modules and such, when I'm trying to get into modules and I'll need to do the agriculture science, actually, as part of the module stuff, I'll need hydrofluoric or hydrogen fluoride for stuff. Hi, Ollie. How's my boy? I'll need hydrogen fluoride for the stuff, for the artificial puffer atmosphere, so we can do stuff with puffers. It's my boy. Yes. Oh, that feels so good. Oh, that feels so good. Yes, that feels so good, Ollie. Yes, my boy. That feels so good, huh? That feels so good. Yeah. Yes, that's my boy. That's my boy. Yeah, it's a big boy. It's a big boy. Need both hands. Need both arms for the big boy. Yeah, she's so comfy. Yeah. You're looking at me. That's my boy. That's that big boy. Here, he wants some lap? No, he wants to leave. He wants to go onto my desk, crawl over my keyboard. Hi. So, logically speaking, what's left? Tungsten, uranium, science, black circuits. Black circuits need science. Modules, and all that they entail. And of course, now that I have blue circuits, a rather major mark level upgrade. Essentially, once I have purple science and I get more mark level stuff, all purple tier stuff will be unlocked at that point. So titanium plus blue circuits. So another massive increase to our stuff there. So, where did I park? Over there. We're going to go to the mall, and as the first thing I do is I'll set up the new mark level things. That just seems appropriate. The whole point of going into these blue circuits now was to be able to start making advanced mark level stuff. Just stuff in general. Better stuff. Oh gosh, my bots are chasing me. Alright, hello, my bots. Thank you so much for coming out, my bots. So, what shall we do? Because I've got military science, I've got modules, which is going to need the agriculture science. I've got purple science to do, pink science, yellow science, well, tungsten for all of those first, because we need the science building to get into that. So, yeah, it's essentially a choice between going into the agriculture stuff for modules and going into the tungsten stuff for the science labs. These labs here, because they need parts that involve tungsten plates before we could even get into the purple and pink and yellow science in the first place. And really, that's it. That's all our choices right now. Hmm. And I don't know what it is, but just today I have not been feeling in my system. Everything is just going straight through my system today. I think I need to take a third break. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take a third break right now, and this will be a little bit extended, and I'll think about what I want to do next. Come up with a decision as to what our next thing is going to be, and we'll spend the rest of the time for the day probably just planning around that. So I will be back shortly. I have returned. Oh boy. The cat played the piano! The cat played the piano! Wonderful. Wonderful. We had, I'm sure Ollie followed me out to, because he always follows me wherever I go. Oh boy, yeah, my gut isn't doing so well today. Uh, this would be because the food I've been eating has been different significantly than what I usually eat because of the 4th of July holiday that we just had, the Independence Day holiday. I ate a lot of carbs, a lot of carbs and sugars that I don't usually eat, and yeah, the body does not respond too well to a massive sudden change like that. Um, I usually don't eat bread, for example, and when I have a couple of hot dog buns and a hamburger bun, and then cheesecake at later that night, and like watermelon, that adds up pretty quick. And baked beans, like that adds up quick. I need to not have that anymore because it's just wreaking some degree of havoc on my system. It's not prepared for all that. Well, I think it's time to work towards modules. That's going to be the plan going forward here. I'm going to look and see, wahaha, what I can make at the current tier level, and that is nice. I will, however, actually need the titanium pipes to do that, so go ahead and, why do I not have... I must not have been bringing titanium in. Isn't that great? Titanium plates. And while I'm at it, NM nitinol plates. Alright. M nitinol down here. M titanium. That'll bring the titanium in, and it will make the pipes, and will be great. And I want a full thing of pipes. That'd be fantastic. You. What can I make next? I don't know. What buildings do I have access to over here? Ooh. Hello, ore sorting facility the next. Flotation cell the next. Leaching plant the next. Ore refinery the first? Yes, ore refinery the first would be great to have. Let's go ahead and limit that chest to 2 stacks. This will need titanium and pipe. Notice how I'm doing this manually to add in these other things, and the previous level of doohickey. This one was what? The flotation cell 3. So the flotation cell 2. You'll be that, and you'll be that. Grab those. I will need the pipes again, as well as those. Pipes and those. Gears. Okay, I will need titanium gears. That will fill the thing. I will have 2 of those working on the gears. I will also need I will also need titanium bearings. And this is going to need lube. So I'm going to be doing this off to the side. Because you need lube. Now, I want to do this in a way that is scalable. Okay, and then I need the requester chest, then I need the provider chests. Whoops. Alright, requester chest. Ugh. This is blah. Blech. That works. Just add doohickey. Ta-da! Let there be titanium! The titanium shall flow. And there's the bearings. All of the glorious bearings. Ah, it's beautiful. Beautiful stuffs. And that is the facilities, the leaching plants, the flotation cells, ore refineries, and crystallizer level 2s. All done. Ready to go. I don't have anything of the next level there yet. I don't think I'll have anything of the next level here yet. How about you? Yeah, salination plant 2s. Those are good. I will gladly take those. Right, do I have cooling towers? I do. I can officially do some coolant-based recipes to improve my output of copper plates, and such. That's another thing I don't think I mentioned, is I think I added copper plates. I added more copper plates production as well to my base between streams, actually. So glad I remembered that little detail. I completely forgot about adding more copper plates into the mix. By the way, give me performance, please. That little recipe icons thing. Look at what happens to the FPS. It dips by pretty much 10 just by having the recipe icons on. If I'm looking out here, look, 45 when they're off, 62, 63. All that just because of the recipe icons, because each one counts as a separate sprite that the game loads. If I push F5 and I go out here and we look at sprites, look at this right here. With the recipe icons on here, we're trying to draw 142,000 sprites. We turn that off, 28,052. $142,000, 28,000. It makes a big difference on the performance somehow. I don't know how it's doing this. I don't know why it has such delays in the frame times when when it's not using my CPU or GPU, no single core is beyond even 30%, let alone the graphics. So it's like, why does it have such a delay? Like, why does that increase the frame cycle so much? I don't know. I really don't know. Now, this little thing with the sprites, it's not even based off of, like, update entity count and such. We can see that my entity, the amount of entities I have, is really affecting game performance. A value greater than 1 is really bad. It's up at 8. Kitty? Kitty. Ollie, what are you up to? Why are you down under my desk? What are you doing? What are you doing under my desk? Hey, you. Hey, you. What are you doing? So. F5. Just a few notes about all of that there. Ollie. Thank you, Ollie, for the piano interlude. I can also do liquefiers. That will need the previous level of liquefier. Yep, and the thingies there. I can do the electrolyzers. I can do... Am I even doing advanced gas refineries 1? Or gas refinery 2s? Maybe? I mean, I can do all that, but they're not exactly relevant right now, so I will avoid that. We don't have chemical plant 4s yet. Quote unquote, yet. How about here? I could do the storage, the all corner storage tank at the next level, but I mean, the only thing that changes is storage volume. And in the grand scheme, that's not the most important of things. We don't have any higher level of algae farms and such, so that goes out the window. Oh. I need fish tanks. Ahem. I need fish tanks. You need titanium, pipes, the electrolyzer. Yeah, you need a lot of stuff. You need titanium, you need the pipes, you need the circuits, you need the previous electrolyzer. And you need the reinforced concrete bricks, which are here. Ta-da! Might want a few more of those. Yeah, I'm gonna need a few fish tanks. What about, do I have the farms yet? Probably not. So, we'll get all the farms. Sure, why not? I've got stuff for farms. Also nutrient extractors. I think those are the same ingredients. You need steel gear wheels added to that. Alright. Add a few steel gear wheels. That's 5. That's 5. Not the same 5. It needs the green circuits. We'll make a few of those as well. Ah! Yes, locomotive 3s. I could absolutely get locomotive 3s. Oh boy, they go even faster. So these have a max speed of 432 and an acceleration power of 1.2 megawatts. That is up from 367 to 432 and 750 and 900 actually to 1.2. So it gains 300 kilowatts of acceleration power. So they accelerate more quickly and they go faster at top speed. They use marginally more fuel, although it is at a higher efficiency, quote unquote. It still burns it faster in the end, I think. At least that was the case at the Mark IIs. It's even though it gained efficiency, the consumption went up, so it ends up using more overall, using it slightly faster than the Mark One. So I'm imagining the Mark III uses it still slightly faster than the previous Mark level. I'm not interested in the higher level of wagon types. And I don't have the purple logistics yet, so that is fine. Harmonic splinters. Oh boy. Well, that... Oh yeah, I need butcheries. Hello, butchery. Let's not have you there. I need the butchery. I need you there. We're gonna need a few butcheries. Do I have or need composters? I don't remember. I will if I want fertilizer. If I need it. Do I have or need any of these? I don't remember. Anyway. So, let's go through the process that we need to do. I want modules. In order to get modules, I need splinters. Oddly enough. Now, I don't really need these pollution cleaning or producing circuit boards at the moment. I don't think I do anyway. But to get into the next tech thingies, I'm going to need to make these, and I'm going to need to make the building to process this quote-unquote science. Wait a second, where's the other circuit boards? Huh? Oh, apparently I have the other circuit boards. But these circuit boards are going to need these splinters, and like harmonic splinters. How do we get these splinters? These splinters will come from... Here. They come from raw crystal splinters and crystal powder, but the powder's easy enough to get. We could process polluted artificial fish water to get those raw crystal splinters. We could, or we could do something else entirely, which is get it from here. Or we could do something else and go down the route of biters. So, biters. These guys. 45% raw crystal splinter from that small biter queen. As well as meat. You get breeding, and you get zoo. The zoo gives you 4 raw crystal splinters in the end. So, we need to do that. This is the way that we get raw crystal splinters at scale, as well as all of the other raw crystals. But this is a loop that needs nutrient pulp, which means farming, as well as alien processed meat, which means fish, primarily, and it needs biters. Now, breeding needs queens. You need queens for that. Now, fortunately, when you do this, you have eggs, and if you grow eggs, you do have a 5% chance of getting queens. So this is net positive on the queens. That's why there's a recipe here to get rid of your excess queens. Think about that, though. Where do you get the first eggs? You get them from blazing puffer eggs and crystal seed and crystal dust in an assembling machine. Blazing puffer eggs. Alright. So, on top of this tech needing biome planners, we will need puffers. We will need blazing puffers, very specifically. As many as we can. Well, we don't have blazing puffer eggs. We don't have blazing puffers. Oh, no, no, no. What you get at the start is gaseous puffers. That's what you get off of the terrain in Angels. So you need to breed these, which means you need to make artificial puffer atmosphere, as well as beans, to breed these, until you get a 5% proc of a blazing puffer egg, of which you'll need to then raise said blazing puffer into a blazing puffer, which that's just a hatching machine that will do that for you. And that will be unlocked through the previous tech, Puffer Refugium 1, that you get your egg hatching. Because we have eggs that we need to hatch into gaseous puffers that we then need to process into these. So, how do we get artificial puffer atmosphere? Well, we sort of have the things that we need for the artificial puffer atmosphere, for the exception that it also needs hydrogen fluoride. Yeah. 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 And we get the puffing and such, but, oh boy. Oh boy. And of course, we'll need to hatch the things in the first place. The hatchery is unlocked all the way back here. And we will sort of want to potentially use the excess stuff for that by butcheries, but nah. Nah. And, of course, we will need to be able to do farming. We need nuts. We need nuts, which also means that we need to unlock some recipes to process nuts. Which will, of course, mean farming and such. And we will need to have this optimized biome planner, which, yeah, would be nice to be able to cycle the stuffs for all of that. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Now, we have these other farming techs off to the side, and I'm going to look for a very specific thing called Benafran. I am going to want this? No. Oh yeah, there's this desert environment kit that lets you build the desert environment farm, which lets you have a higher crafting speed. But you sort of need to make the thing in the first place, and that uses plant life samples, which you have a look at the plant life samples, it's a bit of a mess. Plant life samples are an absolute mess. Do I already have the stuff to process the Benafran? Huh? You're here. You are desert farming. I am blind, apparently. So I need to get this. I need to get this so I can get beans. So I can raise puffers, gaseous puffers, to try and get blazing puffers and several other puffers. Now, this isn't the only type of farming that I'm going to need, but yeah. Stuff. Do you see how complex it is to get into modules? I need to do all of this just to be able to even take the technologies, get the technologies, so that I can make modules in the first place. And then I can use the parts to make the modules in the end. This is why I changed modules back to normal strength, because all of this in their when they're extremely nerfed normally in C Block, it's just not worth the time to get the modules in the first place, and yet it is expected of you to have modules to complete the experience. Like, this is such a tedious process at the scale of it that you need to get the stuff. It is a very complex process. I'm not going to complain about complexity being added in, but by comparison to the other stuff in Angels, it is night and day, shall we say. That's how I'll word it. It is a night and day difference compared to the rest of Angels, and this is King Arthur, who works on Pyanodon's mods, that made all of that a thing, by the way. Who I blame for all of it. King gets 100% of the blame for all of this shenaniganry. 100% of the blame. It's all his fault. So, this all begins with those sciences, that biome science, or whatever the heck it's called, and it will begin with picking up which tech. Desert Farming 1. We need optimized biome planners. And we'll only need a very specific set of them. This will need alien plant samples and a ground sample, which is wood, bricks, and paper. Well, okay. I know how to get both of that. Alright, so that's the one thing. The other thing is a seedling nest out of soil compost. Okay, then. Composter. I think that's all the same things. Yes. Yes, it is. So the problem is this. The alien plant life sample. That is ultimately the issue at large. The alien plant life sample, which granted we don't need a ton of, is obtained from gardens. We can process gardens in a seed extractor into plant life samples. Or seeds. So, can you get the gardens? Yes, you can. You can get the gardens. At a cost of 30 plant life samples. And alienated fertilizer. And an existing garden. To give you +1 garden. So, what you end up with in the end, you will have to cycle 1 garden. You get +1 garden at a cost of 30 plant life samples. That +1 garden gives you 32 plant life samples. That's right, you get 2 samples net in this process, plus 2 alien plant life samples. At a cost of 2 alien fertilizer, so 1 alien fertilizer per plant life sample, and 50 mineralized water. I don't really care about the mineralized water, that's easy. The alienated fertilizer needs fertilizer. Which is compost and urea. Compost is really easy. You have whatever biological stuff you want just thrown into a composting machine. It's really easy. In fact, the easiest thing that you could possibly do is green and brown algae into composters from the freaking water recipe for green algae that gives you the green and blue, the green and the brown together. Just throw all of it into composters and you're good. And there's your compost. Urea. Okay, that's a little bit more involved, but we've already done it now to get liquid resin 2 on the way to the melamine stuff. I think it's melamine or whatever. Yeah, melamine. Melamine. In Pyadon's mods, isn't melamine solid? They have it. Pyadon's has solid melamine, right? Here you get the gas. Make the resin. Anyway. So that's the fertilizer aspect. We also need alien goo. Which, alright, it's just liquefied bacteria. Okay, sure. How do you get the bacteria? Stuff. Calcium carbonate, alien spores, hydrochloric acid. Now, hydrochloric acid, extremely easy. We have 1,000 units a second of production of this stuff already. Calcium carbonate, red cellulose fiber. Red algae. Thermal water and ammonia. Okay. We're making urea. We're probably getting the ammonia already as part of the urea synthesis. Fine. Thermal water. In a thermal water extractor 2, you can throw lithia salt and steam. Well, the lithia salt is brown algae. Okay. Fine. Brown algae we can work with. It is saline water only to get exclusive brown. That will give me lithia salt. I can make steam on demand. We just need one of these. And we can make them. So let's go ahead and make them. If I can remember what tab they're in. If I can remember what tab they're in. Here. Okay. There you go. We'll go back to thermal water here and snake our way into the... Oh, hello. Interesting. So, that was for the calcium carbonate for the alien bacteria. We also need alien spores. Alien spores come from polluted artificial fish water. Polluted artificial fish water could give us a small amount of the crystal splinters, but the scale is just astronomical. We will need fish. Processed into fewer fish, or bred into more fish. In order to then have our fish water, polluted fish water, or the spores, or the goo, or the alienated fertilizer, for the biome samples. These need pulp, which need beans, which need the samples. Or corn, which needs the science. But Otaku, how do you get the science with if you need the science to make the science? Well, there's an infinite supply of gardens across the map. So the idea is you will go out and find these gardens, process them into the science, take the specific text that you need in order to make the infinity science, and then process the infinity science. That is the intent. That is the intent. And we would also need the actual artificial fish water, but that's water in saline water, which is the easiest thing ever. This is, however, if I push L, we have a few gardens, and each one gives 32 of the science. So, 101 plus 65 plus 37 times 32. I have 6,496 science worth of gardens here. Do I need to go through that process of getting infinity science? No. Absolutely not. I can just process the gardens I have, and I'll have enough for purpose. This one's just 32 science. That's one garden of science. And you have desert farming 1. And it's the same thing. We're not even remotely dealing with a scale of thousands in terms of the total science I need to even clear all of these techs. Right? We're dealing in a scale of maybe 1,000 at most total science of optimized biome planners. I don't need to go through that whole ordeal for that purpose. I need to go through this whole ordeal of everything that I just said, getting all of that fish petting and stuff and breeding and all of that. We still need to do all of it. It's just we don't need to do it for the science. We need to do it for the biters. Once we get the biters, after we get the puffers. So, after explaining all of that, it's time to end the stream. We're going to be starting off the process next time. With that, folks, I would like to thank you all for watching. We've gotten our blue circuits today. Of course, that's the main thing we did. We got our blue circuits. We're upgrading stuff for all the buildings that we have at the moment that we can upgrade to the purple tier of stuff. This 4th mark level of things. It's great. It's great. Thank you all for watching. This has been a Talking Show, but if you've enjoyed today's stream, please be sure to do all of the social and engagement stuff below the video. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you've not yet subscribed, and hit the notification bell. Consider becoming a member of the channel by hitting the great big blue join button, as well as supporting on Patreon at patreon.com/talkingshow. But if you're so inclined and able, I will be back tomorrow with more Dyson Sphere program and more Factorio on Thursday. I hope to see you all on the next one.